convoy in Nigeria. Ever since I was conscious of how presidents moved around in convoys, I've never seen anything that is as obscene as what I just saw. It's ridiculous. But it is also, again, just listening to the commentary, as you just pointed out, that the immediate response that people have is not one of anger, because all of the wealth used for that convoy is not Tinubu's personal wealth. That is the commonwealth of the Nigerian people. It is their money on the road. The people stampeding, the people, walking around. I saw what the folks that were taking that video, I saw the way they were dressed. It's their money. It's their money that's being corruptly utilized. It's their money that's being allocated to things that are not germane, that are not important, that should certainly not be priorities. But we have a collective Stockholm syndrome, and like everybody who is a victim of consistent and chronic assault, we need to actually begin to speak to ourselves. We need to, part of the task that people like you and I have, and those of us who are conscious of the fact that this is not normal, is to continue not just to speak about these issues, but also to begin to mobilize for action. It's time we stop talking. It's time we stopped complaining. It's time we stopped turning our WhatsApp groups into, we complain on WhatsApp groups. And it would not surprise me if the same people who were taking those videos would go and post it on WhatsApp and talk about how terrible this is. But at the time, what do we do? What next? We cannot just continue to complain. We're not the only nation that has gone through these issues. But unlike us, many other nations that have gone through this have found a way to organize themselves and to begin to speak truth to power, whatever that takes or that means. And I think we need to get to that place where we move beyond being outraged. We move beyond, engaging on social media, and speaking out our disdain with such issues. In fact, now it's dangerous to even do that, because if you do that, you get picked up under Section 24 of the Cybercrime Act, and you could go to jail for 14 years. That's what's going on now. What's going on now is they will do the terrible things, and if you dare call them out on it, then you get into trouble. So not only are we being assaulted, not only are we being injured, now there's salt being added to the injury, because you can't even speak about it. Speak about it and you'll be arrested for libel or defamation. Speak about it and you are going to be essentially, charged with cyber crimes for doing nothing other than calling out corruption.
We'll get to some of the things your group is planning to do, but let me ask you about the budget. Did you have any chance to look at the budget with the figures and what they are doing with the money?
I looked at the budget. It's ridiculous. Again, misallocation of resources, education seriously underfunded, health seriously underfunded. Most of that budget is going into recurrent expenditure. There is no investment in the economy. I can tell you for a fact that based on that budget, nothing is going to change for the Nigerian people at the end of 2025. Most of that budget is not going to be funded. It's going to be borrowing galore. They're going to be using ways and means to continue to print funds. And there's I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's nothing redeeming about that budget. There's nothing in that budget that tells me that there's any part of the Nigerian system, there's any part of Nigerian society, apart from the political class, that is going to look back at the end of 2025 and say something significant has happened. It's a budget of misappropriation and mispriority.